easier it is to sell souls.
There is a new price on freedom, so buy into it while supplies last. Changes need to be made. No more curbside baggage. 7 p.m. curfew. Racial profiling will continue with less bitching. We've unified over who to kill, so until I find more relevant scripture to quote, remember, our God is bigger, stronger, smarter, and much wealthier. So wave those flags with pride, especially the white part.
We're selling addictive 24-hour candlelight vigils in TVs. Freedom will be defended at the cost of civil liberties. The viewers are glued to television screens, stuck, cause lots of things seem too sick. I use opportunities to pluck heartstrings for theme music. I show you which culture to pump your...
Well, it's another week.
Another week.
Another week.
Has it been a week? It's been a week.
It's definitely been a week.
It's definitely been a week.
Welcome to the 16th episode of The Grift Show with us, your hosts. I'm Gonzo.
I am the Reverend Al, and you can reach me on my secret war plan signal chat.
Can you add yourself to it, though?
I'm not sure if I can add myself to it, but...
No. Can anyone just add themselves to it? Because apparently that's how things work.
I think I can't. No, you have to go in and click a few things several times.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird.
And it shows who
wild.
added you in the chat.
Yeah, and it also shows when you leave and who you were, so...
Yeah.
Cool.
Weird.
Yeah.
I mean...
Anyway, you want to use that as a little segue to dive into the news?
I guess we can do that.
I guess that is the biggest news story of the last week.
I mean,
again, I'll say this. Every week I have this problem. I cannot fully remember what's only happened in the last week.
Yeah.
Often I think things that happened 3 weeks ago were like 48 hours ago.
Right.
And that's part of the plan. Keep us so distracted and so occupied we can't actually focus on one thing for more than a 24-hour news cycle.
Bannon said it back in 2019 that if they got a new administration...
Flood the zone with shit, I think was his exact, exact words.
Keep the press moving from story to story to story because, one, it tires everybody out. Two, it breaks everybody's credibility because you're constantly... And that is the magic thing about Trump, right? Is that since he just keeps doing things, right?
Yeah.
And it's like one terrible thing after another, like people who don't pay a lot of attention to the news at all, which weirdly enough is like a majority of American voters.
You know,
it's sad.
It's sad, but I understand why people just disconnect.
I mean, yeah.
I understand where people are just like, I'm not.
We have a few like low information friends who don't spend a lot of time or energy on it.
And
they do pay some attention, but they're blissfully ignorant.
I'm not happy to be some people's primary news source.
Yeah,
when I am just there to serve them tea.
Right, but
like
that's my life now.
I mean, I'm. You know what?
But then again, we do this now because of that. And
you know, I have noticed that the better informed they are, the more they buy. Yeah, and the better they tip.
It's true. Also, they start paying more attention.
They start making more attention.
Right.
And
but then now we're making some people sad. Some friends of ours, they're like, they used to be blissfully ignorant, and now they've noticed what the world is like, and they're like, oh.
I mean, we know multiple people who were like ardent Trump supporters 3 months ago.
Who are
we're giddy to fucking vote for him, who are less giddy now.
Yeah. And we know a lot of people who didn't vote or voted for Harris, but were like, we don't care all that much, who are now like,
oh my God,
I'm paying attention and this is bad. So, I mean, we're doing the Lord's work, I guess.
You know, you brought this up on the, we're getting a little sidetracked from the news, but this is a little thing I want to bring up because, you brought this up on your TikTok the other day, but we dove into the analytics for not the YouTube channel, but the actual like podcast,
the RSS
audio
feeds.
only RSS feeds, and I don't know who you are, guy in Poland who's been listening to us for the last 6 weeks, but hello,
hi,
welcome.
Yes, welcome.
I hope you're having a good time.
Yeah.
I hope we are providing some sort of benefit to you, even if it's just entertainment. And to our Russian handler in the Russian Federation, who's been with us for at least the last 4 weeks. Hi.
Yeah, like, there's one account in the Russian Federation listening to us.
If you are
hi.
interested in throwing around Tim Pool money for us to say what we were going to say anyway, we're listening.
Yeah, and we're divisive.
Don't get me wrong.
We don't like you very much, but we will take your money, and we're very divisive.
Yeah, I mean, we talk shit.
Yeah,
We talk shit, and I know a huge part of your MO is to just foment shit talking amongst the populace, so that we disagree with one another and we can't get anything done.
Right, and if you want to give us all the money it would take for us to like amplify this platform, like to be able to shit talk to thousands or millions more people,
I would love.
We'll do it.
I would love to do that. I would love to listen, even if you only want to pay us $430,000 a month to download and re-upload our content on a channel that gets a fraction of the views. Yeah, I'm willing to let you do that.
We are not men of scruples or morals here. Our ethical lines are variable, and we're for sale. We
will let you help amplify our message.
Exactly. Those people who listen to us from Hong Kong off and on, thank you to you. The UK, we got a couple listeners from the UK. Thank you.
I have a feeling I know who at least one of those is.
Fair. That'd be cool.
It's probably my buddy Cliff, who lives in Wales.
Awesome. That would be dope. So Cliff, if that's you, hi Cliff.
He used to be in the Flaming Lips.
Really?
Yeah, he was their touring drummer.
Nice.
And the guy who told me everything that I really needed to know about Wayne Coyne.
Well, I'm just going to move on from that because I'm sure that it's not for air.
That is fodder for a podcast that has not yet been made.
All right. So.
I know shit, Wayne. Anyway. So there were probably two stories I think dominated the week. The first is what's being sometimes called Signalgate.
Yeah.
But which I have enjoyed seeing be called Whiskey Leaks even more.
Yes. Oh yeah, Whiskey Leaks is great.
I have seen people say that they don't have OPSEC, they have TripleSec. Y'all are clever. Don't stop.
The ones who did was it Tub Thumping as a song?
Chumbawamba.
Chumbawamba. Yeah, like the drinks of vodka drink. The ones who did that, that was so great. Like I don't even have the meme in front of me right now, but there have been a lot of great memes from this because it was the largest and dumbest and most flagrant national security leak in our history. And
that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah, to scale, it is small, right? Snowden, much bigger. Reality Winner, bigger.
Chelsea Manning,
much bigger. Yeah. All of that true.
In terms of like actual intelligence, like in terms of volume of intelligence.
And those were far more intentional. I will give those that. Mm-hmm. Check and check. Okay. Now, what those leaks didn't have was real-time information ahead of airstrikes.
Due to some of the most stunning incompetence I have ever seen from government in my life.
Yes. For those who haven't been paying attention.
I envy you, but we're going to fix that.
Right. A signal chat... A signal chat was started between J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio was in there.
Marco Rubio,
Tulsi
Stephen
Gabbard
Miller,
in there.
Tulsi Gabbard, Miller, Stephen Witkoff,
Steve Waltz, or Mike Waltz. Mike Waltz. A number of senior national security officials.
Basically, the highest upper echelons
is in there.
The highest upper echelons of our intelligence and defense apparatus.
Yep. So they were all in a signal chat. Now, first and foremost, Signal is not approved to be used on government phones, and it is not approved to be used for discussing classified information.
Which means two things. One, they were doing all of this on their private phones.
Yep.
And two, they were doing things that are explicitly illegal under federal law.
Correct. Now, they're trying to spin it a little bit in that this is Biden's fault because under Biden, Signal was allowed to be used for sensitive communications. Now, there is what's called, I am drawing a blank. I was just talking to Adam about this the other day, the term, because it changed. But it's basically like work product conversation stuff, things that are sensitive but not considered classified. Right?
Because there are levels. People forget that. Yep. Like, classified it's a hierarchy.
Exactly. And so for things that are like, work product only that can be discussed but not in detail, right? Signal was allowed if somebody needed to contact you on your private phone.
Personal phone.
Phone.
After
right?
hours, you don't have a government-issued phone. Somebody needed to contact you. Signal was considered secure enough for those purposes.
Right. But only
in an emergency.
Yep. And only when discussing non-critical things, right?
And non-classified.
Non-classified. So they're trying to spin it that that's the cause of this. Bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit, especially since it is, and this I think is the biggest part of the scandal.
Mm-hmm.
They set the messages to auto-delete after a week.
Yeah, like
And
they had different. Some were set to 4, some were set to 6. They kept changing.
That is something that was explicitly outlined in Project 2025 as a means to avoid freedom of information requests when you start doing shit you're not supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this was the highest levels of the executive branch discussing classified information on an unsecured channel in a way that they would not have any kind of paper trail as to what they were saying.
Correct. And that's all illegal.
And-
all of it. From beginning to end.
One of them, and this is only possible because he was on his personal phone. Mm-hmm. One of them accidentally invited the editor of The Atlantic.
Yeah, who focuses on national security things.
Who focuses on national security.
It's amazing.
Into the group chat.
Yep. So they fucked up.
They fucked up big.
They invited an editor for The Atlantic who writes about national security issues and then had a full-ass conversation where they used emojis, and the vice president wasn't on board, and it was Stephen Miller who was basically like, the president greenlit it, so shut up. He was nice about it, but it was more like a...
I found it interesting that even though it was a discussion about our imminent within the next hour, bombing of Yemen.
Yeah. It started 72 hours beforehand.
Right.
This guy gets like three full days of watching this conversation unfold.
Yeah.
And had this been a true leak, like to some other random journalist who wasn't with The Atlantic or some asshole like, fucking, I don't know, not Tim Pool, but maybe, like any like indie journalist, if it had been leaked to me by mistake, right? And I decided to put that shit on my YouTube channel, which has very few viewers, but...
We would be in an El Salvador prison right now.
Yes, one. But two, the Houthis have the technological capability to shoot down U.S. planes. Now, our jamming is good, but they are still capable of doing so. And with enough forewarning and knowing of what the targets are,
yeah,
they quite clearly could have. They would have the opportunity and the capability. Those two would have been combined. So this leak is that bad.
Right. And,
operational plans before they happen, including targets, timeframes, nuts.
And and the fact that I'm positive that a huge reason that all this happened is because of this. See this right here? This is what we call alcohol. Now, I am not the Secretary of Defense.
I'm not.
So I am free whenever I want, as often as I want, to drink as much of this as I feel is healthy for me.
Correct.
Because no matter how much of this I drink, I am never going to put United States military assets at risk because of it.
You know what? We could test this by going to a bar near McDill.
See, but still, that would be their drinking, putting military assets at risk.
But we could go to a bar near McDill, get really, really loaded, and go behind the wheel, and see if we hit McDill. And then we would put military assets at risk.
It's not far.
It's not far.
We could be there in a half hour.
Yeah. So, but it's the galling thing. We have some people we know that hang out with us sometimes that work at various levels of defense and security. And, one of them is on paid leave pending investigation because they happen to be in an LGBTQ fucking chat group.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a risk.
Yeah.
That's a risk to national security.
Right. Even though
non-straight people talking.
Yeah. This was a thing that the agencies have had and encouraged and allowed them to use forever, and now they're being punished because the new administration sucks. But so that's, galling, because you got that on the one hand, and on the other hand, it doesn't look like a single head is rolling from this.
No, there will be no consequences.
Yeah, and they just got Gabbard lying to Congress. And
every single member of the executive branch who was in that group chat should be forced to resign.
Yeah.
At a minimum, Hegseth should be prosecuted.
Yes.
He broke at least 10 federal laws.
By allowing that thing to happen.
By allowing that thing to happen at
Every
all.
single member in there. Marco Rubio is a cabinet member. He did not have the ability.
And I will say this for
All of
Marco
them.
Rubio. If there is one person who was involved in all of this, who I am absolutely positive knows everything they were doing was illegal and should have fucking known better, it is Marco Rubio.
Absolutely. Hands down.
He is a wormy little shit, but in a situation like that, he is always going to be the smartest person in the room, except for Stephen Miller.
Yep.
And Stephen Miller doesn't count because he is so blinded by his hyper-fixation on being racist, he will self-sabotage his own goals just to be more racist. And also, he's broken inside.
Stephen Miller is the smartest one in that room except for Rubio, and he knows and doesn't care. Like, he wants to break the rules because he wants to.
He doesn't believe they apply to him.
Yeah. And he definitely doesn't believe they apply to their movement or the president. Right? He wants to build a consequence-free fascist movement. That's his thing. So, yeah. Stephen Miller's the smartest one they've got, and fuck him. But, yeah, this thing is a goddamn mess. And it is the absolute highest level discussion we've ever seen, just given to a journalist. The only person who didn't do anything wrong or illegal was the guy accidentally invited in there.
And what's interesting is that a lot of the critique that I have seen about all of this from the right and the left has been focusing on Goldberg and what he did or didn't do.
Yes.
And how this was, in one way or another, everything that happened was his fault.
Yeah, this is stupid.
It's fascinating and stupid.
Yeah, from the left, it's a lot of, he should have warned the Houthis. No, he shouldn't have. And that might have actually gotten him put in jail. Yeah. Right? Like, yeah, he's a journalist, but, he couldn't have gone to print before the strike. Like, and their lawyers, I'm sure, did not want them to.
And let's be honest, going to jail in a situation like that was probably a best case scenario.
Yeah.
In that situation, this administration has personally hated him since Trump was first in office in 2016.
Right.
Before even.
Yeah.
Because this is the guy who printed the piece about Trump calling veterans suckers and losers.
Right. And because of that, and again, that Rolling Stones piece, I read that the other day, the one that, Trump hates you.
Yeah.
Remember that one? It's true. For the MAGA voters out there who probably are never going to listen to us, maybe one or two of you are, but most of you aren't, he hates you. Unless you have an 8-figure income, he doesn't give a shit about you. He wants stars and famous people and cool people to like him.
He hates you more than you hate black, brown, and queer people.
Yeah.
By a lot. Like, it's not even... There's a chasm there because a lot of you don't even understand that that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't know you're being driven by hate.
I know most of you don't believe you hate them. You do. Shut up.
You do.
I don't... Quit pretending.
You wouldn't do the things you do, and you wouldn't say the things you say if you didn't. You wouldn't be afraid of them.
Yeah.
If you didn't. And
you act... I mean... You're just slightly kinder, gentler pro-segregationists, and you're only slightly. Like, your rhetoric is damn near the same. Like, not of the shittiest Klan politicians back in the day, but, like, the rank-and-file voters who were like, well, I just don't know about those black folk over there.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you sound like most of the time around brown, black, queer people. Like,
we know because we're white, and you are very free about what you say just because of our skin tone, even though you should fucking know better.
Also, because you bring up weird issues, like completely unsolicited in lots of conversations. You'll be on Facebook or some shit, right? Talking about something else in politics, and then somebody goes, you don't even know what gender is.
Yeah. What's a woman? I'm like, anyone who covers their drink when you come into the room. That's my go-to answer now because it's probably the most accurate fucking definition of woman you could ever hope for.
But, or they'll bring up DEI hires in a thing about Pete Hegseth being drunk, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, this has nothing to do with the other. Why are you so focused on race and gender all the goddamn time?
Yeah.
Like,
you are obsessed with it.
Like, I focus on protecting their rights when you do things.
I don't think about the genitalia of people I intend to have sex with as much as you people think about the genitalia of people you claim to hate.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Like,
You need help. Get some goddamn therapy.
I don't think about the genitalia of people I'm actively currently having sex with as much as these people think about other people's genitals.
No.
Like it will be right there in my face, and I'm like, and I'm thinking about it less than these assholes. I don't get it. It's crazy.
And like,
Oh my
let's be
God.
honest. You only think about trans women.
It's so weird.
Your hyperfixation on girl dick needs to be. We need a full fucking like sociological study.
Yeah, because y'all
on
don't talk about trans men very much.
The white conservative male obsession with girl dick.
Like trans men like barely register on your radar. You're really just focused on what is a trans woman, and it's starting to like. Are y'all just afraid that some of them are really pretty and that you might want to fuck them?
That's okay. I mean, they don't want to fuck you,
Right. Like,
but like if you want to fuck them, just be like, oh, she's hot.
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
It means you think she's hot.
You're allowed to think
You're
they're hot.
allowed to think that.
And let me tell you,
But there is a reason why.
if they've had bottom surgery,
There is a reason why. If you look up the most popular porn search results by state,
yeah,
the number one search result in every single red state is trans.
it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Oh, and so-
Everything you fucking people do and say is a confession.
So what was the other big story that dominated the week? Because
For me, it happened yesterday, or 2 days ago.
okay,
Story broke yesterday when the video dropped of Rumeysa Öztürk being kidnapped off the street
yeah,
by ICE agents. Unidentified, unmarked, plainclothes ICE agents in unmarked vehicles rolled up on a 30-year-old postdoc grad student to ship her elsewhere. We don't know for sure where. There was a court order saying she couldn't be moved from Massachusetts.
yep,
She may be at a facility in Louisiana because that's where they've been sending people.
okay.
But we don't know for sure, and no one in her family nor her attorney can get in any contact with her whatsoever. She's just been disappeared,
Despite there being a court order again.
despite there being a court
And
order.
this was a dominant story again last week because this just keeps happening.
And to Muhammad Khalil.
And they just had a U.S. citizen rounded up and in a detention center for hours because they refused to like listen to him or talk to him. They just scooped him. He tried to explain like that he was a citizen, right? They refused to talk to him, listen to him, anything. They just threw him in a vehicle, took him to a detention center, threw him in a holding room. Nobody would listen to him. Finally, they searched him and pulled his ID.
Yeah.
He had an ID.
We've got...
He was a U.S. citizen. They just had to look.
We have had people sent to El Salvadoran concentration camps because of paperwork errors.
Yeah.
Like, they were not the person who was supposed to be picked up. They did not match the name or description of the person who was picked up, but because they were denied due process, they were sent to El Salvador, shaved, and put in a cell with 47 other people.
Yeah. The lack of policies and procedures. Now, there was a reason this is happening. And it's not just the shock and awe or the cruelty is the point or any of that. One, the deportations that Trump promised, all these great, amazing, we're going to get all of them out. It's going to be huge. And starting on day one, like that was his, he's going to get rid of them. And it'll be, by now, he basically promised that every illegal would be out of the country in his first 100 days, right?
Yeah, everybody was supposed to be gone already.
Right.
And deportations overall are down
That's where I was getting.
month to month.
They are down. They're at levels
by a
lower.
lot.
They're levels lower than Biden and Obama, right?
And I'll say this: I hated their immigration policies. I have hated the immigration policies of essentially every prominent Republican and Democrat politician the entirety of my lifetime. The closest I can come to agreeing with a politician
Was
on
the
fucking
1980
immigration.
election.
The 1980 Republican primary when Reagan and George H.W. Bush were fighting over who could be nicer to people who were in the country illegally.
And George W. tried some amnesty and got shot down by his party, but he wanted an amnesty plan. Like,
It's like, I'll say this:
you people are evil.
In general, I like Bernie Sanders. I fucking detest his immigration policies. I fucking hate his
immigration
policies.
and trade policies are so short-sighted and dumb
and nativist and gross.
They play to the dumbest, angriest parts of white America's working class.
And shit like that is why, as much as I know some of you love him, there's a reason why he could not really gain major traction. And it's because he did not seem safe to any minority voters. And if you are not viewed as safe by minority voters, you do not have a goddamn snowball's chance in hell of getting nominated as a Democrat for fucking anything outside of Vermont.
Yeah.
If you are not in the whitest place in the goddamn country, you can't. You have to care what black voters think of you.
Bernie did really well in places where the Democratic primaries are dominated by white people.
Right.
Like, that's it. Like, and his primary showing otherwise was terrible. Open primary states, he did badly. The South, he fucking got demolished.
As tired as I am of relitigating the goddamn 2016 Democratic primary.
Every time I turn around, I still have to?
Every time I turn around, I still have to. But, like, Bernie Sanders lost because more registered Democrats who vote in primaries voted for Hillary Clinton. Yeah. Period. Full stop. I don't care what conspiracy theories you come up with. Yeah, I don't care how much you dislike her as a candidate. I don't care how not great of a candidate she ended up being. Yeah. I don't care that she was probably the only person capable of losing to Donald Trump in 2016.
Right.
The overwhelming majority of Democratic primary voters voted for her because leftists will not do the thing they don't want to do more than anything else in the goddamn world, which is register as a fucking Democrat and vote in their goddamn primaries.
Yeah, like they just don't. They
just won't. Like, and you expect. Why do you expect a party that you refuse to engage with to listen to a goddamn word you say?
Exactly. And like, again,
do I like the fact that I've been a registered Democrat in the state of Florida since like 2006? No. But I get to vote in the primaries.
Same.
And my candidate never wins, but even there's utility even in that, because if you have a candidate who is to the left of your mainstream candidate and they get a sizable chunk of the primary vote, that sends a message to the party that there is a sizable part of the Democratic Party base, which they do care about, that is left to the left of the mainstream.
Which adjusts what kind of candidates you get and what kind of policies you get, and what kind of, even when you get a shitty candidate like Clinton or Biden or Harris or whoever, it adjusts what policies are going to push. Yeah. But again, even with that blaming them for not voting and registering thing, open primary states, like, he was demolished in them.
Right.
The only places he did well were caucuses where, like, diehards get to yell, like, a bunch of white diehard fucking left guys got to yell at Democrats until they left the room. That's how he won.
In states where the nominating process is predicated on, like, open face-to-face bullying, he did well.
Yep. That's bad.
That's bad. And
he did not do well there, like anywhere else.
We have mutual friends who were diehard Bernie Sanders supporters in 2016.
Yeah.
Ride or fucking die for Bernie. And it was their first elections, all of them. They were all new to the process.
Yep.
And I watched every single one of them. Every goddamn one of them refuse to register to vote in the primary then get fucking angry when Bernie lost Florida.
I knew ones that were like door knocking for Bernie and then failed to register.
Yeah.
It's like you were that involved in the process that you were actually like out there door knocking for weeks for him, and you didn't even look at the pamphlet like that you were handing out.
And do you think that the Republican Party became a top-down fascist party because the guy at the head was like, we're fascist now? No. It's because starting in 2010 with the Tea Party, the craziest fucking people on the right took the goddamn party over. And then in 2016, the crazy motherfuckers who took the party in 2010 were primaried from the right by even crazier motherfuckers.
Yes. And
that's how you do it.
Right. And here's the crazy-ass part. Yeah, we could say that the Tea Party was astroturfed because it was.
It was.
Right?
And that's a problem. We don't have that advantage on the left.
But they lost control of the astroturfing once they'd done it. Like, the party was using the dumb crazies to get them out to mobilize to beat Obama in 2010.
Right.
Right? They lost in 2008. badly. Like, just he ran the fucking board and he brought the Senate with him hard and the House.
Yeah.
It was.
There was
Now there were all these other events because people were tired of Bush and the wars and the crash all like hurt
just
the Republicans.
on top of each other.
Yeah, but Obama still way overperformed and he just carried the whole party with him in that year. And they needed to do something. So they just activated all the craziest motherfuckers they could and got a whole bunch of people who didn't vote because they were that crazy that they didn't vote before. They got them out.
And as a random, just a little side here, one of those crazies was Mo Tucker from the Velvet Underground. I remember seeing footage of her, I think it was in Arizona, like at a Tea Party rally, screaming about Obama.
Wow.
I'm like, you did heroin with Lou Reed.
Right? Holy shit. That's depressing. It's funny. I like the Velvet Underground too. It's like, why?
What?
Fuck.
What?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is why I don't trust hippies.
Yeah, I know. Like, I mean, you know, that's what I got.
Like, that is stuck in my brain for the last 15 years. Mo Tucker, I think it was in Arizona at a Tea Party rally with like a fucking picture of Obama as like the Antichrist or some shit.
Let's get back in the news. Oh my God. So Stefanik is going to be with Drawn for the bid for ambassador.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Elise. What'd she do? How'd this happen?
I am not entirely sure. She's
This is
terrible.
breaking news because I didn't hear about this before you got here.
Yeah, it just hit. Let's see. Stefanik, New York Times has it. Trump said he's asked her to withdraw her nomination from ambassador to the UN. Actually, wow, this is sad.
What? What happened? How dumb is it?
Well, it's funny.
Okay.
It seems that his main concern is keeping her in the House.
Ooh.
Because of how minuscule their control of the House is.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to take either of the two open seats in special elections in Florida up in the next week. We might take the 6th district.
Right.
Just because Randy Fine is unusually unlikable.
Oh yeah, he's ridiculously crazy.
He's crazy even by crazy MAGA standards.
Yeah.
He's
I
genuinely
got
deranged.
like a weird Twitter argument with him like 3 years ago. It was bad.
Oh, wasn't
the guy's
it?
a fucking
It was Sam's ex got in like some weird argument with him about like fucking UFOs or some shit.
Yeah.
Like it's just he's deranged.
Absolutely deranged. I think that's what started it. I think
Yeah.
I said something to him in that Twitter beef, and then it just went sideways.
But Matt Gaetz' seat is up, and he won that seat by like 19 points in November.
After it was known that he was a fucking kitty diddler.
Right. Like, after everybody knew that he paid children for sex.
Yes. It's known.
We're not going to sugarcoat it.
I'm not even going to pull the allegedly card.
He paid children for sex.
He paid children
we know
for
this
sex.
For a fact.
Gates, sue me.
We have the fucking Venmo.
We got
receipts.
the Venmo. You're right. Like, you can claim you didn't. She was a hooker.
You did. She was the child hooker.
A child hooker.
That doesn't make it better, dude.
Your buddy, the fixer who set you up with her, was indicted and charged.
Yeah.
And convicted. And there are Venmo receipts.
Last I looked, though,
you paid an underage girl for sex.
I'll say this.
Off.
Even when I think we're going to lose that seat, because the Florida 1st is the reddest district in the state of Florida.
You know what?
But here's the thing.
How can we get as many people in the Florida 1st to actually see this? Because you suck. You fucking kitty rapist pieces of shit.
He won that district by 19 points. Right?
Fuck.
19 points he won in 2024, November of last year. Last I looked, the polling, like, the Democrat was down by like 5 points.
Good.
So even if the Democrat loses, if they lose by less than 10 points, that will terrify the Republican establishment. Because that should not be, even coming within 10 points of the Republican in that district should not be electorally possible.
Yeah.
And when it happens, or if it happens, that's a message that they're going to be terrified by. Because, just the other day, special election in Pennsylvania for one of their state Senate seats, a district that Trump won by 15 points in November,
right,
went to the Democrat.
Beautiful.
The Pennsylvania Senate is now back in Democratic control. They took it back.
Let's leave these kind of things towards the end because our main topic is actually this segue. So let's talk about that more later. Speaking of, let's see. Trump signed a dumb executive order trying to reshape election laws that the courts are probably going to knock down. Hopefully,
he's basically just trying to pass the SAFE Act by executive order.
Yes.
By the way, the states get to determine their own election systems. That's why we have such a hodgepodge.
Yep.
That's in the Constitution.
Congress has the power to override that.
Right.
They do.
Congress,
not
the executive
not the
branch.
executive.
And this is something that I want everybody to remember. And this also kind of segues into what we'll be talking about later. Executive orders are not laws.
Yeah.
They are.
We said that before.
They are statements by the executive branch on how they intend to enforce laws.
Correct.
But they are not laws. They do not have the force of law. They are statements of intent.
All right. So let's see what else we got. Have you noticed that actually Columbia's enrollment is way down and people are rescinding their applications?
I cannot imagine why.
Yeah, they're sending letters, sending people who have been accepted, including some really promising grad students and valedictorians across the country are like, nah. Or they're sending letters being like, I'm gonna thank you for accepting me, but no, I'm not going.
I think
that's great news.
I think that both Oxford and Cambridge should send the Trump administration a letter of thanks for how much their enrollment is going to go up as students looking to study abroad go to the UK instead of the US.
Yeah, since they're killing the Rhodes Scholarship program, I think that Europe's best universities should probably pool their money together and talk to their governments and see if they can create a scholarship program for top American talent. Because aside from that being great for those schools, right? Let's start doing what we're doing, which is they would benefit by doing what we do, which is steal our top talent.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but
a brain drain would help us.
A brain drain would be a wake up call. Hopefully, long term.
I don't think it would help us in the short or near term.
No. But I don't know what the short or near term looks like. I posted a TikTok about this. I talked to my dad yesterday. He's 86 years old. Former military. He was in the Navy.
Right.
Stationed in Guam. Worked for the NSA while he was stationed in Guam. To this day, he still won't tell me what he did.
Right.
I just know part of it was intercepting Soviet messages and transcribing them in Cyrillic. Right. He doesn't speak Russian, but he can hear Russian and transcribe it in Cyrillic.
Okay.
And then he would hand it off to someone else who actually spoke it and could read it and translate it. That's all I know about his time there. But he told me that he, considered himself thankful that at 86 years old, he was going to not live long enough to see most of what's coming.
Yeah.
Because he is very disappointed in the United States right now. And that is not a sentiment I have ever seen him express. I have never seen him say a disparaging thing about the country. He's talked shit about individual politicians. He fucking hated Reagan, especially in the second term. He didn't like W. But he's never shit talked the United States. He's never said he was ashamed of the United States. He has been ride or die for this fucking country since he was born in 1938. When he was a toddler, his fucking father was over in the Pacific fighting the Japanese. Right? He told me that he was glad he was too old to have to see most of what's coming.
Yeah.
And then he apologized to me for what the rest of my life is probably going to look like living in this country.
That's a sentiment. That is.
And I couldn't argue with him.
Fair.
What am I supposed to say? I'm not excited.
Right.
But we persist.
We do persist. With this shit gets heavy, but that's why we got the second half. I swear to you. Stick with us today. We're venting. We're going way off target today a lot, and I apologize. Stick with us.
We're building dramatic tension.
Yeah. All right.
Is what we're doing.
We are like the showrunners of Daredevil. We're not quite at Severance, which.
I still need to watch the two most recent episodes.
It's edging the shit out of me.
We'll do that after you leave.
The season finale for Severance.
You probably don't have to wait 4 more years for the next season.
Yeah, and I'm not happy because Lost, I want some fucking questions answered. It's a good show. I'm enjoying the acting.
Unlike Lost, it will probably eventually answer your questions.
Right. I know that, but it's going to be probably 4 more years from now. We may not even have a country then.
They can move production overseas.
If we haven't lost the internet.
You can enjoy it. You can enjoy it from your home away from home somewhere in the wilds of Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Hiding from the federales.
Right, that's everything might be bad by then, and like so, my sense of impatience is growing.
We will still be doing this podcast from 2 separate, undisclosed Zoom locations via 8 layers of VPN.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh God. So,
but we'll still do it.
Other stories in the news: RFK is planning to cut 10,000 jobs and restructuring the health department.
Yeah, they're also like canceling all of the federal grants for state and local healthcare systems.
Yeah, but just 10,000 jobs and cutting all these grants. That's going to be great. That's our healthcare systems are not already stretched to capacity and having difficulty. We are bang up job. Make America great. I don't want to keep venting on every single topic. God, I hate these people.
They want you to die.
Yeah.
And that's why you can't.
Let's see. Trump says that the U.S. will go as far as we have to get control of Greenland. As far as we have. Again, Greenland is technically an ally. Like,
he's only picking fights with allies.
Isn't it? Like, shit. They've been relatively quiet about Iran, for fuck's sake.
It's almost like, and hear me out, and maybe our one listener in the Russian Federation can back me up on this. It's almost like he's a Russian asset.
Almost.
Working for Vladimir Putin. It's the feeling.
It's
a feeling.
Guy
in Russia.
Can you get a hold of the P-tape for me, please?
Yeah.
Give it to us.
I will live stream the shit out of that on TikTok.
Speaking of which, Hegseth. You know what? I hate him.
Pete
Hegseth.
Pete and your fucking family of iron crosses on your chest.
Later in the same day that the White House confirmed that the Signal chat was real.
Mm-hmm. He just lied.
Denied it, and like went on about how the Goldberg was just a hoax peddler, right? Mm-hmm. And the big one was these guys talk about Russia as if it's not verified that like 6 members of his administration and campaign had improper ties with the Russian government, including spies.
Here's just a random question I have that occurs to me a lot. Why does no one on the left or the right seem to have a realistic sense of Russia and who they are and what their government is doing and what kind of a person Putin is? Like, because I see a lot of people who have an unhealthy fixation on the Soviet Union.
Yeah, which they're
spouting pro-Putin nonsense. Right. And modern Russia is not the Soviet Union. I don't care how much you love the Soviet Union. I don't care how great you think it was. I don't care how many of its crimes against humanity say weren't really crimes or were CIA psyops or whatever, right? I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Fuck you for that.
They are not the same. Modern Russia, and his goal is not to reestablish the Soviet Union. He has straight up said he wants to reestablish the Russian Empire.
Yes.
And if you are opposed to American imperialism, you should be opposed also to Russian imperialism and Chinese imperialism and any other country that's deciding to do an imperialism.
Mm-hmm. He wants to reestablish the Russian Empire. He utilizes the Russian Orthodox Church as a propaganda weapon, and he's basically taking complete control over it.
Right, which I don't recall the Soviets doing that.
No, they didn't. And he has eliminated all opposition except for some really weak, friendly opposition parties so that he has elections.
So he can at least pretend.
So he can at least pretend to have electoral government.
And even then, it's a cynical pretending where he's just like, I am pretending.
Yeah, and he doesn't hide it. Nobody wins 90+% of the vote.
It's like him and Saddam Hussein.
Right. And Gaddafi.
Gaddafi.
Yeah.
Gaddafi was also was genuinely weirdly popular.
Yeah, but he was not that popular. Not that popular. His army of rape victim fucking soldiers like that, were his personal bodyguard were just, it was weird. Fuck Gaddafi.
Dude knew optics. He fucking
did.
knew optics.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
Because he groomed the prettiest women in his country into like personal bodyguards from the ages of like 12. And like, yeah, he raped them all, which is awful. But like, he had all these like hot personal bodyguards around him at all times. And like his weird fucking hats and fucking medals all the time. It just.
Dude had drip.
The lion.
Dude had
Remember
drip.
the lion
Yeah.
cape that he. Oh my God.
These are fucking
Gaddafi.
goddamn cartoon characters.
Yeah. And like, I get it. The Green Book had a couple of based things in it, but the rest of it's nonsense. Like, you're the same people who like Kaczynski.
I know. I know. It's like, you know, talk about like, well, he wrote some based things. So did George Washington when he owned slaves.
Yeah. But you don't acknowledge him.
You don't acknowledge him.
No, your America bad brain rot is stupid. All right. Trump team revokes $11 billion in funding for addiction mental health care. All right. Bang up job. You addicts out there.
This is how we defeat fentanyl.
Yep, this is how we're going to beat the opioid
Here's
crisis.
the thing. Well, the opioid crisis solves itself when all addicts die.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, if we kill everyone in Gaza, there's no more problem.
Yeah.
That's the mentality here.
There are so many people like using opioids in this country. It's insane. You know. But hey, this is going to be a bang up job. This is going to do it.
Yeah.
Yep, so there's an emergency motion to get that Tufts student, like, produce them. The court wants to see this student because it's been disappeared.
And that's the thing, like, they're not even trying to accuse these people of crimes. Like, her crime, the reason that they did this to her is because last year, a year ago today, she had an op-ed that she co-wrote with someone else, published in the Tufts University student newspaper, telling the Tufts administration that they needed to pay better attention to what the student union was saying about its messaging on the genocide in Palestine. That's it. They asked for divestment, but that's it.
If you want a Palestinian child to live, you are an anti-Semite.
Right.
I need you. No, you cannot stand for anti-Semitism on this show because you cannot let Palestinian children live. If you do that, you're a Nazi.
Well, they're Hamas children.
They're Hamas children.
They're Hamas
All Palestinian children are Hamas. That's not true, is it? Wait,
No.
Fuck. God, they got it wrong again.
But and
That's
I'm
their
gonna.
government.
I found her op-ed this morning. I'm gonna link it in the shit.
Is it mild?
Huh?
Is it mild?
It's. I've said worse today.
That's what that's what I mean.
I've said worse in the last 10 minutes.
I pulled the fucking typical goddamn Zionist moron plot right out of my ass there. Like,
Yeah, I've said worse in the last 10 minutes, and I don't think I've said anything particularly incendiary yet.
like I'm of the personal opinion that most of the Jewish population in Israel should flee Israel so that the rest of their government and the Zionists that run the place can be murdered. They should be killed.
I do not know that there has been a single greater propaganda victory in the last 200 years than conflating the government of Israel with the Jewish people.
Yeah, it's
No.
like, the government of Israel
First of all-
needs to end badly.
We know a lot of Jewish folks.
Yeah.
I don't know a single one of them who's a Zionist. Personally.
No.
They're not open.
The closest I had a couple friends. One was a convert. No God, do converts.
Why are converts to every religion the worst?
I don't know, but
But
yeah,
it's true. Christian converts,
his family
Muslim
was, like,
converts,
Catholic,
Jewish
and-
converts. They're all the worst. Always the worst.
Yep.
You people, you try so fucking hard to prove yourselves, you become fucking nightmares.
And then there were a couple who like didn't know where they stood on it. Until.
But even that's a better stance than
Right.
just blind allegiance to any government.
And they got a little defensive about the. Well, it can't be I mean, what about our people? Like, well, look at all these kids, and they're like, oh yeah, that's bad.
That's
right?
bad. That's bad.
Because
It's like, oh shit.
Did you see the? Did you see the list? Like, 27. They identified over 50,000 of the dead, and It's
listed them by age.
And
it was the first 27 pages
first 27
were
pages.
age 0.
Age 0. They were
Less
under
than
1 year
old. Infants.
So over 900 infants were murdered by Israel.
And the government, the Israeli military claims they have only killed Hamas.
Yeah.
Only.
So those children are infants Hamas now?
Hamas.
If a Zionist ever listens to this,
let's talk about
our infants Hamas.
Hamas has been the elected government of Gaza. Well, they were elected in 2006.
To one election.
They were elected in 2006. They took power in 2007. There hasn't been an election since. At that point, they won with a plurality of the votes. They got 44% of the vote to take power in Gaza. They do not have any control of the West Bank whatsoever. That is an entirely different government.
They barely exist over there.
So don't forget what
growing.
Don't forget what Israel is doing.
Yeah,
in the West Bank.
Yeah. They're growing in the West Bank now.
And
imagine that.
And I am positive that Benjamin Netanyahu is helping finance.
Yeah.
Because one thing we know is that as recently as 2019, the Israeli government, the Likud party in particular, Netanyahu's party, were explicitly funding Hamas because they needed a PR adversary.
Yep. So this is a fun one. 6 people have died after a tourist submarine sank in the Red Sea off the coast of Egypt. That one's fun. Fucking just lost a submarine, just sank. I don't know why people.
What?
Look, I get the idea. Submarines seem kind of cool, but like tourist submarine seems like a dumb, dangerous idea. Like
I would not.
Yeah, because
there's a part of me that deeply loves the idea of personally seeing like the Challenger Deep. Like I envy a guy like James Cameron.
Yeah, who
was able to go down there and like with his own eyes see things that no human being had seen before.
Right. Here's the thing.
That's amazing. Like, I get the impulse. I am not interested in imploding to do it.
Yeah, All right, what do I have to say about it? I don't actually value my own life very much, and I like risk a great deal. I've jumped out of more planes than I've ever landed in, right? By a wide number. So, yeah, I'd probably do it, but I don't think it's a great idea for tourists.
I personally, when it comes to
if you want to die, do these things. If you don't,
when it comes to ways to die, I hate the idea. I think of drowning and suffocation the most.
Yeah, but implosion would be instantaneous.
Yeah, but then I would have to like be surrounded by rich assholes when it happened.
Fair. Oh, Trump had a late night meltdown and attacked NPR and PBS and wants them immediately defunded.
You mean that like 1% of their funding that comes from the government?
Yeah. Hey, look, they got one MS-13 mountaintop leader. One after all these deportations, they finally got one. Let's see. We lost some 4 U.S. Army soldiers in Lithuania somehow.
Like, we don't know where they are at?
Yeah. There's a search for them.
In Lithuania?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe they're a NATO ally. So,
okay.
I have to look. But yeah, I believe they're a NATO ally. Let's see. Department of Education is launching an investigation into California's Department of Education for, what do we got?
Teaching slavery was bad?
Yeah.
Using children's preferred pronouns?
It's over FERPA, which is the Family Educational Rights Privacy Act, which allows parents the right to access their children's educational data. California state law. Yep, it's over gender identity. That's it. California state law prohibits them from diming out any information they have on their students to their parents. Like,
why do you fucking people love snitches so much?
Right. Here's the thing, parents out there.
Did you not? I know a lot of you motherfuckers were alive in the 90s. Do you not remember that snitches get stitches?
Yeah. Here's the thing. If you are a parent out there and your child isn't telling you about their sexual or gender identity or their sexuality at all, and they're hiding it from you, it's because you're the type of parent they don't feel they can trust.
Right.
It has nothing. The school isn't at fault. You don't have, like, you could claim I'm the parent, I have a right card. Fuck off. No. You don't have any right for anybody else to walk up and tell you something. Right? Like, nobody else is ever obligated to tell you that your kid doesn't trust you. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
That is actually what the answer is.
Do we think
your child does not trust you.
And what do we think happens when an authority figure tells a parent your child does not trust you? What do we think happens to that child?
They could be abused. It can change the dynamic of between them and the other authority figure, and they could lose trust in them. They could lose more trust in their parents. It could create tension. They could get pulled out of that school. They could be
thrown out on the street.
They could be thrown out on the street. They could be bullied. They could have their parents focus on, like, changing that gender identity back to what they want them to, and then forcing their kid to do something that they're basically hiding from their parents to begin with. None of that is positive, right? Yeah. Like, if you want your little boy or your little girl to be your little boy or your little girl forever, the exact same way you wish that they would, and grow into whoever you want them to be.
Take a fucking picture.
Yeah, take a picture and keep it, because that's not how people are. We don't become exactly what our parents want us to be molded into, and it is insane that people want it to be, but
they view their children as property, both as property and extensions of themselves.
Like, I get people who have a hard time with it. I do. I have some sympathy for parents.
If it comes out, if you get blindsided by it and you're, like, not expecting it and you don't see any signs that your kid is anything other than, like, what you think they are.
Yeah. And look,
I understand, like, the initial response, like, oh shit, what?
Look,
and, like, maybe
I'm actually going to go a step further than here. I sympathize with parents who have a hard time, like, looking at their little boy or their little girl, and then all of a sudden learning that their gender identity doesn't match what you've believed them to be that whole time, right?
Right.
Because parents put a lot into their kids. Like, sure. That being said, if they don't trust you enough to talk about it, maybe that's it. You have a hard time with it, so they don't feel it's safe to talk to you about it.
It can never be absolute. There's no such thing as absolutes, but in general, if your child does not trust you, that's a you problem.
Yeah.
That's a you as a parent problem.
You've somewhere along the line failed.
You have given them the sense that they shouldn't trust you.
And now it's natural for kids to have, like, want to keep secrets, get embarrassed, try to hide things from their parents. But also, there's something with that has to do with your parenting style and how you've interacted with them. You have not done everything you could to make them feel it is completely safe for them to bring anything to you.
Yeah, like...
And that's part of it.
I get a kid not wanting to, like, get into specifics about, like, their sex or relationship lives with their parents, right? I understand.
Yeah, sure.
That's uncomfortable and weird, I think, for everyone.
Yeah.
But, like, if they can't tell you who they are at all, like, you have created an unfortunate environment that you created. They didn't do it. They didn't do it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't get to completely dismantle the United States government because one of your sons turned out to be a daughter.
Oh, this is a fun one. New head of the Labor Department. I'm going to move on to the next topic, but this is a fun one.
Okay.
New head of the Labor Department.
Okay.
The head of their Civil Rights Division.
Well, they still have one?
They do. Huh. They do. So the new head of their Civil Rights Division was a former SpaceX lawyer.
Wow.
That represented them in civil rights cases. And do you know what she's looking to do?
What is she looking to do?
She is looking to downsize the shit out of the contracting department. Like, yeah. And the Civil Rights Division in general, she just wants it smaller. And especially the watchdog of, like, the contracting. Yeah. So that SpaceX, her former employer, her current employer, SpaceX, she has a government title, but her current employer, Elon Musk, and his plethora of companies would like this gutted so they can do more things and get away with more.
Do you think it hurt Elon's feelings to not be in the group chat?
Oh, I hope it did.
I have Signal on my phone, too.
Apparently, Trump has been complaining about how Elon just shows up all the time to things now. like behind closed doors.
Well, yeah.
It's
He, as far as Trump is concerned, Elon paid his money and it's time for him to go.
yeah, but as far as Musk is concerned, he paid his money and it's time for him to run the country. Let's see how this goes.
It don't end well for anyone. It doesn't end well for either of them, but it doesn't end well for anyone.
We're trying to control Ukrainian minerals and energy. Our new version of a peace deal just gives us more control of their energy. And every time we come back to the table, we're asking for more, and they seem to need us less.
If you can't make demands of a country that was invaded by a belligerent larger neighbor, who can you make demands of in this world?
Slava Ukraine, motherfuckers. I hope that Europe gets its shit together. Oh, actually, that's a neat thing. So, most of NATO is actually gotten over the 2%. Several have. We are now no longer at the top for a percentage of our GDP spending on our military budget.
Wow.
Yeah, like we have the biggest GDP, so our number's still big, but we are
So
not
gargantuan, yeah.
Yeah, we are not leading as far as highest percentage of GDP in NATO. We're actually slid way down the list, and we're one of the only NATO countries that's actually decreased in the percentage. Actually, no, we are the only one since 2014. Everybody else since 2014 has been increasing. So that'll be great. I think the news sucks. Do we have anything interesting? Do you have anything good? Anything new, exciting?
New and exciting. It's not news, but it is an event. Nevertheless, and I think this is auspicious enough. It counts as good news.
Okay.
So this counts, Sam. This counts. We got a new ContraPoints video this week.
Oh, we did,
and it's really fucking good. It's probably her best in the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, that's only like 4 videos, but it is probably her best video since Envy, and Envy was one of her best videos ever.
Wow. Okay.
It's all about conspiracism, not specific conspiracy theories per se, but like how conspiracism develops and is fostered and grows. And it's 2 hours and 40 minutes of fucking great entertainment. And unlike the last couple of videos that she's dropped, she does not undermine her own point in the conclusion at all.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know. That's been disappointing the last couple of years.
Yeah,
Natalie. I'm watching a 3-hour video about J.K. Rowling, and then you're like, but it's fine. Like, no.
Yeah, that one bothered me.
No, that bothered me. I forget what she did in the previous video where I was like, you've just undermined your entire point of this 3-hour video, woman. What are you doing? But she didn't do that this time. This is solid start to finish. It's just good. 2 hours and 40 minutes of goodness. I highly I mean, it's already got like 1.4 million views. You people don't need me to tell you to go watch it, but I'm telling you to go watch it anyway because it's good. It's good, and it's always exciting when she drops a new video, and now we just need another H-Bomber guy drop.
Yeah.
Because, come on, Harry.
So that is good news. That is good because ContraPoints puts out good content, and that's good content. I haven't seen it yet, but it's good to know that she
really
hasn't.
Good. It's really good. I've actually seen it twice now.
I trust your opinion on this. How long is it?
2 hours and 40 minutes long.
God damn it! I devote a lot of all right. I devote a lot of time to a lot of things, and I have so much media to consume, and I still, the worst is that like I get to reading articles while I'm listening to these videos because I do that, and then like one distracts over the other, and I have to go. But I got to get one of those like those news app things that just kind of condenses.
You know what you can do? She doesn't speak particularly quickly, or like she enunciates well. Watch it in 1.5 speed.
Oh, I could try that.
Just set it to 1.5.
I could do that.
After the first 2 or 3 minutes, you won't notice you're watching it at a faster speed because it doesn't change the
I miss her
pitch at all.
shorter videos when I used to just get like a half hour to 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah, God, that video she did about redlining in Baltimore.
Yeah.
That is one of the best explanations of that topic I think I've ever seen. And I can't remember if it is one of the videos she deleted because it was pre-transition or not. I hope it wasn't, because everyone should watch it.
So one piece of good news for
though.
the world, as I was saying, I was hoping Europe gets its shit together. So apparently Europe's reassurance force in Ukraine is to take shape in 3 to 4 weeks, says Emmanuel Macron. So like they're going to have a force helping them.
Euroforce.
But hey, it's a bunch of NATO countries. And even if the U.S. decides it doesn't want to get involved, having 3 or 4 nuclear states, like, and countries with big militaries, like, because if the full force of NATO decides it wants to, even sans the United States, without the U.S., if the full force of NATO decides it wants to stick it to Russia, there is no Russia in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And that's without a single nuke flying.
Right, and I'll say this,
Sorry, Handler, but your country sucks.
I think it is very dangerous for the United States to disengage from NATO, but if we disengage from NATO and we are not a part of NATO anymore and we are not involved with NATO anymore and the world doesn't fall apart, long term, I think everyone is better off.
Sadly, we're not.
We're not, but I think the globe long term is better off because we just have too many conflicts of interest and we're not honest about them. And we never really have been.
Yeah, I mean, I want us to. Like, here's the thing. I want us to stop doing some of the evil shit out there, right? But because I like comfort and money, I do want us to actually, like, live up to our position as the leader of the global, as the leading global hegemon of the Western world.
if a
because it's great for my pocketbook. It is great for every American's wallet.
If a global hegemon is inevitable, which is pretty much guaranteed in a global economic system,
I'd prefer it to be a Western state.
I in general, you should probably want to live in the country that's the hegemon as opposed to not.
Right. And I would prefer for it to be a Western state. Right. And I don't mean that in some kind of like chauvinistic way. I just mean that our sense of liberal values and democracy is more refined than others.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't want to see like, and we have an unofficial kind of version of it here, but I don't want to see any sort of global version of like the Chinese social credit system.
Right.
Like we have a version of that with some of the dumb shit. Like, all right, this has been pissing me off for the last couple of days. People are very upset with Jasmine Crockett for calling Greg Abbott Governor Hot Wheels.
I got into it with some.
This is something that people have been calling him in Texas for years.
Yeah.
I was talking to AJ yesterday, and he said that that's what they called him in 2018.
Yeah.
Like, this is just. And I'll say this: so if you are upset,
I got into a dumb argument with this like leftish libertarian person who's like, I hate ableism and like they're Democrats because now I will give it to them that Crockett shouldn't have tried to like walk it back at all.
No.
Like Jasmine Crockett, if you ever hear this, because hey girl, by the way, you're kind of hot. Just gonna say. Anyway, just throwing that out there.
She is pretty.
She is very pretty. Hey girl. But aside from that, don't ever back down.
Never back down.
When you're wrong, you're wrong. So do it. Apologize when you're wrong.
Yeah, if you get something wrong, say, "Wow, I got that wrong."
Yeah. And if you accidentally blurt out something like really offensive, like not mildly, not like, oh, that's ableism. Oh, that's not woke. Yeah, that's not politically correct. Fuck off.
Fuck off.
Tell them to fuck off.
I'll say this. Okay.
Double down, triple down, quadruple down. Own it.
If you were offended,
we love you.
That Jasmine Crockett called Greg Abbott Governor Hot Wheels, I want you to tell me how you feel about this. I think we should keep dropping trees on him until one of them finally gets the job done right. Because that first one didn't do it. Didn't do it.
Look, here's the thing.
Should have been his neck.
He's one of those people who, like, I'm happy he was crippled by a tree. Fuck him. Like,
and the way that he changed, he did tort reform in Texas so that even though he was able to sue for millions of dollars over his injury, no one else can going forward.
Yeah.
That's like the ultimate boomer move.
Yeah, that's fuck off. You're like, pull the rug up, close the door, pull the ladder away after you've gotten what you want. Fuck you, Greg. These guys are all like that. Yeah, every single one of them. Elon Musk used to be the king of we need more subsidies for industries. right? Because he was benefiting from them. Now he wants to cut them all. Now that he has monopolies in these industries,
Right.
Like, but yeah, so that's some good news. Ukraine, great. And Governor Hot Wheels sucks. Fuck him.
Fuck him. Him and his attorney general.
Yeah, you know what? Dear liberals and like whiny woke scold leftists, once again, you're not helping. Just stop. Normies don't care. Normal people like when people are kind of a little bit tough and mean sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, and they like it when people come out swinging and tell it like it is. Let's be real.
That's one of the reasons this fucking idiot is president.
Yeah. And the reason that Democrats are losing young men in scores, an age demo of men that they have never lost at this rate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not like this.
Is because you're making them feel bad about being who they are, which is normal young men. Some of them are assholes, and yes, we all learn problematic shit, and yeah, there's a patriarchy and all of that nonsense. And
it's all true.
It's all true, but also it's totally fucking human to just be like, this guy's a piece of shit, and he looks like he rides around in his fucking Hot Wheels. Wah.
Yeah.
It's, as we talked about, like that punch up, punch down humor last week, put down humor is still sometimes kind of funny. Like, it is still okay to not be politically correct all the time. Just don't be a complete piece of shit about it.
Yeah, especially if you're doing it to someone who, like, I don't know, wants to send women who end up with miscarriages they can't explain to prison for life for murder.
Yeah, so bad people, hit them where it hurts. Wherever it hurts. Wherever it hurts. However it hurts.
You can be as mean to an evil person as you fucking want.
Yeah, and just do it.
Just do it.
I'm sick and fucking tired of it. And now, look, I get it. There's also that, hey, Elon Musk or Donald Trump won't see you making fun of them for X, but your friends who have X will. No, hey, look, buddy, I know that you got a little bit of a belly. I'm never going to make fun of you for it, right? I love you, right? Never going to make fun of you for it. Why would I?
Right.
We're friends. Elon Musk's grotesque, weird chest.
He's shaped like a Cybertruck.
Right. Donald Trump not being able to see his own tiny dick. That's fucking funny.
His little fucking Vienna sausage fingers.
Like, yeah. I'm going to make fun of these. They are terrible people who are also very vain. And if you attack that part of their physical characteristics, they get insecure about it, and it hurts their feelings, and they do crazy things.
I'm reminded of something my friend Debbie once said to me years ago. She said, it's not okay to make fun of someone for being fat unless they're a cunt, and then it is totally acceptable to call them a fat cunt to their face.
Exactly.
She's a socialist.
Bad people deserve to feel bad. And, like, I'm not going to run around talking about how fat people are terrible.
No.
I'm going to talk about how this terrible person is fat. There's a difference. Individualized. Anyway. So, oh my God. I don't want to read more news, and that was more about Gaza that I really don't want to look at right now.
All right. So we will move on to the happy.
Happy.
We're going to get happy here.
We're going to get happy.
We're going to get happy here, but I think first we're going to take a little break.
Yeah, we are.
We're going to take a little break. I mean, you don't need to know that.
You don't
I'm
notice.
telling you.
I'm telling you. I'm going to walk this puppy. Oh, hey.
There's a puppy.
Do you guys want to see the puppy?
I think they want to see the puppy.
I want to see the puppy.
I want them to see the puppy.
She's sleeping, but I'm going to wake her up right now.
Well, you gotta wake her up to take her outside anyway.
Right, I do. So, you guys get to see the puppy.
She's amazing. She's so well behaved for a puppy this age and this size. Like, could be a total destructive force of nature, but no. Look at this sweet little face.
She does annoying and terrible puppy things for like an hour or 3 every day.
Yeah, that's not my problem. She's not my dog.
But for a 19-week-old puppy, that is not much. Not much at all. She actually kind of likes sitting on my lap. She just woke up, so she wants to go back to sleep. But she likes sitting on my lap.
Look at this.
Here's
your happy news for the week. Look at this puppy.
Her name is Sigyn. She is named after the wife of Loki, the goddess of loyalty and devotion. Sigyn, Sigyn. The reason I named her is because Loki was a shit show who did a lot of dumb things, and she stuck with him the whole time. And
it's honestly all you can hope for.
Exactly.
Sir.
I am a shit show. who needs somebody loyal in my life. So, this is
you got it.
Sigyn.
She's amazing.
Adorable. And she has now made her appearance on The Grift. Everybody got to see the puppy. This is more happy news. She just lets me do this. Like,
Puppy,
look at this.
Puppy will probably mean best ratings yet.
Right? Oh, great. Milk those ratings. Look at the camera, girl. Mwah.
She's going in the thumbnail.
And back.
Because I don't. Well,
She'll sell.
Once we get into the content of the show, I think it'll become apparent why a puppy.
Everybody needed a puppy break there.
A puppy sells.
We did the happy news stories, and then it still kind of turned sad and dark. The world is a place, and there's I'm sure there is good news out there. It's just hard to find it.
Yep. But we'll be right back. All right, we are recording. I figure we just.
Oh, we're back.
We are back from puppy break.
The puppy was very happy to go outside.
Puppy peed. Father smoked. I got some nice fresh air and sunshine.
It is beautiful out there.
It is a gorgeous goddamn day.
It's finally like I hate the cold in any kind of capacity. So but now that we're at the upper 70s and the low 80s, I'm at least kind of comfortable again. And I realized that probably sounded like shit there for a minute. Sorry, I forgot to put my mic back.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I was dealing with the puppy while we were sitting down.
I can edit this however we want anyway. So
well, it's nice outside. Yeah,
it's nice outside.
So speaking of nice,
one of the things, but we have a topic this week. Shocking, I know, right? We don't have a topic every week or anything. But I think what we're talking about today is non-specific, not particularly specific, but it might be one of the most important things I think we've talked about.
It is, yeah.
It is something that I personally have been screaming about for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
All the way back in Trump's first term.
Yeah. Same.
Because there's a trend that I think is more worrying than any trend I've seen, because it is the least helpful and most potentially destructive impulse, and that is giving in to doomerism.
Right. And it does not ever help anyone. You get depressed, you get sad, and you eventually just give up on doing anything. You get fatigued out by doomering, and don't do that. You reach a situation where your only option is bed rot. Yeah, I mean, look, we say as we drink.
But also, I want to say, I think we bought these 7 episodes ago.
Right after the election.
Right after the election.
Well,
so
no, right after the inauguration.
All right,
right
so yeah.
Inauguration, yeah.
Yeah, it was the first week after the inauguration.
Yep.
We bought these. And we have only been drinking them during the show. Mm-hmm. And neither one of us have finished our bottles yet.
Yeah. Now, I will say that Thursdays are one of my go-out nights because I have this, so I don't drink kava.
Yeah.
Right? So I tend to go out on Thursday nights for a few rounds later in the evening. It's fun.
I sit here and edit.
He edits.
Sometimes I go out afterwards, but...
Yeah. But yeah, we haven't been drinking a lot. But yeah, so we say that as kind of a jest because it is easy. It's easy to give up. It's easy to just want to do bed rot, to want to just...
And that is what your enemies want you to do. Mm-hmm. They want you too tired and sad to push back at all. Even if pushback just means you saying, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Like, just saying, I don't like this and I want it to change is better than nothing. Every teeny tiny bit helps.
There was a great phrase used about like the culture of Germany during the Third Reich, which was the banality of evil. Mm-hmm. How basic and normal life seemed. And it's because people just kind of gave up fighting. They gave up dealing with it. It was just that one little addition at a time. It's like, okay, now I have to have papers. Now I have to have... right now, I can't get a job unless I join the party.
Even once the war got going, unless your city was being bombed, if you were an average, normal, middle-of-the-road German citizen, you could kind of just ignore what was going on around you.
Mm-hmm. But your life kept changing little bits at a time because you were giving up, and that's what was happening to the population. One thing and then it was another, and then it was another, and people just gave up. They gave into it. They let it happen. They didn't push back.
It didn't seem bad enough at this point. It was like, well, it's not great, but it's not that bad, so it won't get worse.
And then next thing you know, if you're not giving the salute when everybody else is giving the salute, you're getting rounded up by soldiers, right? And
you are going to the same camps where the people you were okay with going to camps ended up.
Mm-hmm. And that's a problem. But it starts with yourself. It starts in here and in here, in your heart and your head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to be willing to not give up and to find some peace and joy where you can, because, again, it's not always bad all the time. This is bad, but your life, come on. Like, you got friends, you got family, you got people to talk to.
If I were to say that my daily life is worse now than it was before Inauguration Day, that would be a lie.
Right.
My daily life I don't know that it's actually changed at all in terms of, like, going to work, coming home, seeing the people I care about, doing things I want to do, having an enjoyable experience being alive. Like, outside of the times when I'm hyper-focused on the news and what's going on in the world, like, things are good.
Yeah. Now, that being said, it's not always good for everyone. And that's we do this because we know people who are impacted and we care about them and we get to exercise some privilege here, right? That we have the time, the means, skin tone, and gender expression that gets listened to, right? Like, that's great.
We are less at risk.
Mm-hmm. And
I think that means we have an obligation to do shit like this, being less at risk.
Mm-hmm. But we know people whose lives have been affected. Earlier on in the conversation, somebody who was in a fucking group chat at work doing national security stuff, all of a sudden her and every other LGBTQ member of her agency and others have all been put on leave if they were in these chats, which were most of them. And
from what she has said, she was almost entirely non-participatory.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a group chat that was happening around her.
And I would like to point out again the subcultures in the military, right, and national security apparatus. There's a lot of, like, in other chat groups and other things where you're talking work, like, nobody was talking about the chicks they banged or their dick sizes or asshole jokes or like any of that, like, stuff that dudes do when they're duding out. Nobody who did any of that has been suspended. Yeah, and I'm not going to say what I'm about to say because I know I know specific examples, but I am positive, without a doubt, somewhere in the Defense Department, in the military at some level or another, there are a group of 25 or 30 white guys just having a full-on white nationalist far-right group chat, and they are not being investigated at all. And nothing is happening to them. There have been more than a few examples of those so far. Nothing's happening to them. And even in work chats like that, like, sexist and homophobic jokes get made all the time. Like, and nobody is being punished except for the LGBTQ members of the national security and intelligence world. None. Right. They're it. So things are changing for people that matter. Right. So we can't give up for them. And I hope that the lawsuits are successful. I hope that, because that's just it. There is, if you were to pay attention to the news right now, you'd think that it's all doom and gloom, that Trump is just winning. Right. Right? He's not. Like, all right, a lot of people are giving up and acting like he's winning. A lot of people are giving up and assuming it's like, well, he signed an executive order. That makes it the law of the land. And people with power are the worst offenders here. Yeah. Like, news organizations, politicians, right? Hakeem Jeffries throwing up his hands and saying, I don't know what you want us to do. Yeah. At a minimum, you speak out. Yeah. That's, at a minimum, you stand up and you... It's like, I've seen... You make it difficult because you are a member of Congress and you have the ability to make things difficult. I've seen criticisms of the anti-oligarchy tour that Bernie and AOC have been on for the last few weeks. And a lot of people talking, like, well, they're not doing anything. They're just, like,
out there talking about it being bad, and it's like they're not giving us any like actionable plans for what to do. It's like going out there and saying that it's bad and having rallies to like rile people up about it being bad is a good thing. That in and of itself is helpful. That changes the conversation and forces people to think about things they otherwise wouldn't want to think about.
We exist in a system based on the consent of the governed, right? That is a big part of...
No matter how often it doesn't feel like it, it's still true.
And if they completely lose that consent, it's game over for them, right? We still probably have at least a midterm election that's going to be relatively free and fair.
Right.
Probably.
Probably.
We may have another election that actually works in 2028. I don't know.
And when it comes to like election problems, especially in the midterms, it's not going to come from Trump. It's not going to come from the federal government. It's going to come from state interference.
Yeah. So
it's going to come from your Republican governors.
You need to be paying attention to them.
Like that's something we need to think about here in Florida because
DeSantis really wants to change the Constitution and federal law and also all of state law to like look similar to the same kind of like dismantle the apparatus that is happening in the feds.
Right.
Like he wants to be the next leader of MAGA, and he's doing everything he can to do it.
Now he won't be.
No. It's
like,
not charming enough.
He has no charisma. Like I don't know if people who don't live in Florida and don't see his shit like daily.
Yeah.
He has no charisma. He barely won his election in 2018.
But Fox is giving him a lot of air these days again because he's out here. He's on a tour as states are trying to pass these balanced budget amendments in their states. They also want to force a constitutional convention with the purpose of having a balanced budget amendment.
Right, which is a terrible idea.
But we all know what a constitutional convention can do.
And I need people to understand
that I hated Cenk Unger, whatever the fuck.
Cenk
Unger.
People, I think most people don't know what a constitutional convention is at all. A lot of people who do know what a constitutional convention is have this idea in their head of, well, they would just propose amendments. It fundamentally means rewriting the whole thing top to bottom however they want.
Yeah, there's only a handful of parts of the Constitution that say that are difficult to rewrite.
If they wanted to just
some explicit
not
parts.
have a Bill of Rights, you could do that at a constitutional convention.
They theoretically could. Yeah.
And when you see the only states who are calling for this are Republican-controlled red states, you should be opposed to it.
Yeah.
And but this is something. Talking about doomerism. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about the idea of red and blue states.
Sure.
Because the idea of having red and blue states is part of the problem.
You're right. You are absolutely right. Now, it matters for like conceptualizing the politics at
it matters
scale.
in terms of talking about the actual elected representatives.
Yes.
Like we have a red state government because
Absolutely.
we have a Republican governor and a Republican supermajority in the House, State House and State Senate.
Right, but
when you look at like the breakdown of party affiliation, first of all, Florida has more NPA people by percentage of the population than anybody else.
Yeah,
it's a full third of the registered voters in the state of Florida are non-party affiliated. That also means that 1/3 of the voters in the state of Florida are not eligible to vote in any primary.
Yeah.
So if you're NPA in Florida, you do not have a say in the primary process at all for either party. Still, if you look at the Democrat versus Republican breakdown of registered voters in Florida, it's like 52% Republican, 48% Democrat.
Right.
It's still almost split evenly.
Yep.
With 1/3 of the populace being independents, whatever the fuck that means at this point.
And again, let's look at 2025 or 2024 election. 2024 election, like Trump handily won Florida, sure, with 56.09% of the vote. Okay, that's a lot. Mm-hmm. But the interesting thing about that is that there's another big ass number, right? Mm-hmm. He won 56% of the vote. He didn't win 60, he didn't win 70. And that's the red state, blue state dichotomy always ignores that. California is one of the most tilted states to the Democrats in the U.S., right?
Huge. The entire northern third of the state is weird right-wing weirdos.
Yeah.
There's just not as many people there, but they're all weird right-wing weirdos who grow a lot of weed.
Yeah.
That's been interesting to me. They're like,
right?
Are they all ANCAPs? Are they all fucking libertarian? They're all libertarians.
They're all fucking libertarian types,
fucking libertarians.
But, I mean, again, slightly higher percentage for Harris in California, right? 58.47% of the vote in California. But that left Trump with 38.33%.
In what we routinely call the bluest state.
Yeah. That's
even though if you look at like percentage of who gets what votes, it's not the bluest state even.
That was 6 million voters.
Right.
6 million people.
But when you are a Democrat in Florida or a Republican in California or anybody on the left in Utah or Oklahoma or Texas,
yeah,
the message you are given is there is no point for you to try because you cannot win. And that is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. One, it's absolutely not true. Like, states have adjusted their party affiliation over time. California, up until basically like our lifetime, right, was a red state that was turning blue.
God, right? They've had multiple Republican governors in the last 30 years.
Yeah. Like,
one of them is one of the most famous action film stars of all time.
Exactly. Now, obviously, he's basically left the Republican Party and called them a bunch of Nazis these days.
Right. And he did that without his politics changing even the teeniest, tiniest bit.
Exactly. No, he was a fiscal conservative who, like, otherwise was fine.
What do I care if people do this in their bedrooms?
Yeah. Like,
why are you bringing this to the government?
Yeah. Get to the chopper. We're trying to cut the budget.
Get to the chopper. Like, we're going to the drag show.
Right. But, yeah, his politics never really changed. He just was a fiscal conservative and, you know, was, like, kind of into God a little bit. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Vaguely.
Okay.
And in a I'm going to leave you alone about what your beliefs are kind of way.
And I think he supported some minor abortion restrictions. He wasn't a pro-lifer, but, like, you know, he's like,
he was willing to make concessions to that side of his party,
right?
More than anything else.
Exactly. So I mean, and it's fine. I miss when fucking Republicans used to be saying they're not anymore. But the message that you're given is that it's insurmountable, and it's not. There are things you can do. You can get involved locally. You can protest. You can speak to your neighbors. You can raise awareness.
Run for city council. We have a socialist on our city council.
We do. Yep.
Like, ran as a socialist, calls himself a socialist.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Dem sock, so he's not bad. Yeah, but yes, and he won. He won.
He ran and he won. I voted for him.
He ran against a property developer, a major one, and a large scale property owner, while calling for rent control.
Yeah,
like he's not going to get it passed because our city council is basically beholden to developers. Like,
which is one of the bigger problems in the state of Florida across the board, regardless of Democrat or Republican control. That is probably our biggest problem in this state.
Yeah, we've let special interests, particularly property developers and real estate moguls, like, run the cities, like, and local elections
and the counties.
And that's a huge part of the problem. But, you know, yeah, he ran as a socialist and won, and you know,
when he's up for re-election, he'll win again.
More than likely. He's very likable. He's very he's seen as being someone who takes the job seriously. Exactly. He doesn't
like even people who disagree with him on policy like him.
Yes. He's very engaged. He's very outspoken. But that's, run for city council, run for county commissioner,
run for school board.
Get on your local school board. Fucking go volunteer at the library and help them out, because if funding is getting cut, you want them to continue operating a library. So if they lose their grants, go volunteer.
Is there a food pantry in your town?
Yep.
Go volunteer.
Get involved in free stores, neighborhood library stuff. Go hand out Narcan and contraceptives. Get involved on a local level with mutual aid.
I know someone who has a community food pantry in their front yard.
Yep. I mean,
you can do it.
we know lots of people who do mutual aid and get involved on an organizing level. You can get involved somewhere. Find community to help you do something.
You have to use your anger at what you see in a productive way.
Yep.
Put it into action, whatever that means to you. Like it doesn't have to be anything big or grand. It can just be saying, I'm not giving up today.
Yep. And here's the
Fuck
thing.
you. I am going to find my joy and be who I am.
Yeah.
And speak out against what I see as wrong.
Exactly. And you can do this in lots of little ways that can all add up. On a daily basis, you could just talk to people about things you care about, right?
Yeah.
Talk to people that you think are convincible, that are on the fence about something or don't seem aware of an issue.
If you know somebody who you know that, like, on a personal level, they like you.
Yeah.
Like, as a person. Like, they respect you as just a human being.
Exactly.
But, like, their politics are a little fucked.
Mm-hmm. Or they're disinterested.
Or they're disinterested. So many people are disinterested, and those people are so easy to get to your side with just a little bit of, like, honest conversation.
Yeah, compassion, honest conversation, letting them know how you feel.
Look at our boy Ian. Like he started coming to the bar as like almost entirely politically unaware.
Oh yeah, and now he's very aware.
Now
he sends us stuff.
very aware. Yeah,
yeah, like, and that's you. If you can change one person's mind about issues, right? You can get one more person engaged with politics than you did before, than existed before. You can give $10 to a candidate, and you can save like help one community aid or mutual aid organization with one task, right? And go to one protest. Okay, if you do all of those things in 1 year, right? You've got a grand total like 8 hours of your time and like $50 spent, right? And you've still done more than you did before.
And when other people see you do it, they're more inclined to do it too. There's a snowball effect. It's how grassroots movements happen. Like, you see one person do something that feels a little inspiring.
Yep.
And then you do something. And then somebody sees you do it. And they do something. And before you know it, you have an actual, like, sizable part of the population like working towards a common goal.
Yeah, exactly. And start a TikTok, start a podcast, post those memes, man.
Yeah,
like
every meme you share of JD Vance looking stupid. It's ridiculous, but it changes the conversation.
Yeah. Push back in the comment sections.
Like
I know, not reading the comments is self-care, sure, but if you do read them, give somebody a little pushback.
Give them pushback and be creative about it. Give them pushback in a way that like they're not going to be smart enough to come back from. I love doing that.
Exactly, but this is attainable. We got people winning elections in Pennsylvania that they never should. State Senate races are shifting in directions that we never thought they would. Musk has to spend $1 million trying to buy that Supreme Court race, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he's going to do it. He might not succeed, but he's dropping $1 million personally to try to buy it.
Right. And this just people seeing him try to do that and knowing that it's a thing makes it more difficult for him to succeed doing it because people see it as cynical.
Exactly. And let's never let them forget that he bought a government job.
Right. He paid $250 million to get Donald Trump elected so he would be allowed to just destroy every agency that investigates any one of his companies for being fucking incompetent. He's targeting all the watchdogs predominantly. And that's it's not just the agencies. What he's aiming for, like a spear, are the watchdog groups. It's everybody who ever grounded a test flight. Yeah. And the Doge spending stuff is just the big distraction to keep you focused on dumb shit. It's fucking over the CFPB and the NLRB because it makes it harder for him to do business. Yep. And these entities get in his way. And so he's attacking them. And he's distracting you with the Doge savings bullshit. That's all nonsense distraction. But the reason he's doing it is because he was under threat, right? Right. Like, he was the richest man in the world, but
the government was looking like it might actually take aim at him. And we should force them to. Now, obviously, the Trump administration isn't going to do bullshit, jack or shit. But, you know, if his popularity craters and he loses a bunch of Republican seats, right, the 25th could get invoked, right? He could get impeached a second time and convicted this time around, like, or third time, technically.
Third time.
Third time.
And that's the thing.
Twice impeached. And
we can't impeach him unless we take the House back.
Yep.
Which, it's like 3 seats.
Yeah.
It's a tiny... It is important to understand how slim the majorities the Republicans have right now.
Now, we need a bigger margin in the Senate. Like, because, you know, the filibuster is going to be a problem over there. But it's still not that bad. Like, even if if you got a 4-seat majority, 5-seat majority in the Senate, and they're like, we're going to filibuster, you're like, no, we're going to take you to the woodshed. We're going to end your political careers. We're going to ruin you. We're going to... Elon Musk may spend $250 million getting the president elected, but we're going to throw an entire... We're going to have George Soros buy you out.
It would be way more difficult. They still would. Like say an impeachment got to the Senate. Obviously, there are too many Republicans for him to be convicted.
Right.
But unlike the last couple of times that it happened, given everything we've all seen and Musk's involvement as an unelected lunatic, it would be very difficult for them to live down their vote to acquit.
Yeah.
Compared to, especially the first time he was impeached for withholding aid to Ukraine.
Yeah, because he basically was able to try to spin that as he was just doing his job as president.
Now, the fact that he was not successfully removed from office even for 3 weeks in the wake of January 6th, I think is the single greatest failure of the Republican Party in my lifetime.
Yes, they were cowards, feckless cowards.
Because they all agreed.
Right.
They all agreed that it was wrong.
Yeah.
All of them. And they still wouldn't do it.
Some of his most ardent fucking supporters were hiding behind chairs as fucking people were breaking in, and they were cowering. You people are feckless fucking bitches.
I watched Josh Hawley run for his life.
Yeah. You guys are fucking cucks. Like, I would never stand up for the man who put me in that position, and I wouldn't have cowered like you bitches did. Like, I can guarantee you that.
I can almost smell the piss and the shit that was surely in Jim Jordan's pants while he was running for his life so he could live another day to protect a sexual predator.
God, he loves protecting sexual predators.
He really does love protecting sexual predators.
We've never brought that up on the show, have we?
I don't know we have.
Jim Jordan helped kids get raped at Ohio State University and hid it. And there's a paper trail showing that he hid it and proving that he knew about it. There is documented evidence that he was made aware of it through emails. And he's lied about that ever since. But when he was the athletic director at Ohio State, he helped a sexual predator molest children and hide it. Jim Jordan, ladies and gentlemen. So anytime he speaks, you know who he is. He is a kitty diddling piece of shit. Or he protects kitty diddlers, my apologies. And now he protects other sexual predators.
It's the one thing he's really good at.
Man, so many Republicans are good at it, aren't they?
They really are.
Yeah.
They really are.
And their voters just lap it up. Just, oh, kitty dick. Oh, you little kid fucking pieces of shit. I hope you all catch bullets with your teeth. Like Superman.
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
Yeah. In Roblox.
But, you know, fucking child molesting fucks. Anyways.
And like,
I have opinions.
And this does bring up something that reminds me of, like, when you give up and your opponents are these people.
Oh, yeah.
You are giving them more than they could ever get on their own.
Absolutely. And these are the worst fucking people. Like, again, they hide child molesters. They don't give zero shits about children in Gaza or Ukraine or gay people here or trans people here. They don't care about deporting citizens. They give zero fucks about anything.
They don't care about their own poor rural voters.
Yeah. They hate you. And yet,
why are you going to give up and let people who hate you win?
Yeah, don't. Doomer.
No.
Like,
and All right, things are bad.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong.
Things are bad.
They're very bad right now.
They've been worse in this country.
Also true. Yeah,
things have been worse, and we have come back from it.
We interned the Japanese. We had a civil war.
Yeah, we had a civil war. The country split itself in two.
Yeah.
And then we killed almost 1 million of each other.
Right. And
over the course of 4 years.
4 years. After that, we segregated by race.
For 100 years.
For a century. Yeah, for a fucking century. That was bad. Right?
Things have been worse. Things are bad.
We used to have gay people getting lynched all the fucking time in the 70s and 80s, right?
You have everybody's always like, "Oh, Trump's not listening to the courts." Andrew Jackson, was it like 1824?
Yeah.
He was told, "No, you can't do the Indian Removal Act. That's unconstitutional." And he's like, "Okay, make me not." And then he did it anyway.
Yeah.
Things have been worse.
But we have a lot of apparatuses right now that we can utilize to gum up the works, and we don't want to let them take complete control of them. We don't want to give up, because if you stop paying attention, if you give up, they're going to win.
Right. We have each other. We have each other's. There's more of us than there are of them. I know it doesn't feel like it, because especially in online spaces, MAGA is very loud and very belligerent.
Yeah.
But MAGA, or what we call MAGA, doesn't even make up the entirety of his voter base.
Right. So you don't even have the entirety of his voter base. You got a bunch of people who just voted for him, like especially this last time around, because of inflation and egg prices and shit. Huge swaths.
And a lot of not thinking that it could get worse.
No, you got a lot of people who can't vote in this country because of criminal convictions that don't like him, right?
Yeah.
And like, you can say what you want about it, but again, they exist, right? You have more Democrats registered in the United States than there are Republicans. End of story.
And gerrymandering's a problem, but it's also a problem you can fix at the state level by getting rid of the people who keep gerrymandering.
Exactly. 70% of the country's GDP comes from blue counties. Like 70%. Like we control the economy.
Right.
We control the numbers.
We control the social structure.
Yeah. One of the biggest things that they want to try to do is take over and change the culture. They're obsessed with it. Musk, in that speech, that weird fucking interview. You remember the deranged fucking, was it CPAC?
Which one?
CPAC, where he...
comedy is legal again.
Yeah, that one.
I am become meme.
Yeah, that dumbass one. What he really was focusing on was like how they were taking over the culture. And a lot of them have been talking about, we need to take over the culture, we need to take over the culture. It's because of this. We run the culture.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
Collective royal
No matter how hard they try, and no matter how many small inroads they might make, especially with like younger men, they are never going to be able to force the majority of this country to be far-right Christian nationalists.
No.
It's just not going to happen.
At least not without the apparatuses of the state.
Too many of us have gay friends for everyone to suddenly become homophobic.
Yeah.
Too many of us have minority friends for us to suddenly become like firm believers in using state power to oppress marginalized groups. Like they do not have the power to change the culture at this point.
Right. They could someday though. And that's why you don't give up, why you don't doom her right now. And why you don't go, oh, it's somebody else's problem.
Now is the time to be louder than ever.
Yeah.
And you can't.
And Trump's popularity is cratering.
And you can't.
Musk's cratering.
And this is something that I've seen people do. You can't use fear about what they might do to not do things.
Right.
Because one of the things that I've been seeing a lot lately is this idea that it's like, if we go out and protest and there's a mass movement that he will invoke the Insurrection Act and declare martial law and strip us all of our rights. And if he's going to do that, he's going to do it no matter what we do.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing he's expressed his desire to do. There's a deadline of April 20th from the DOD and Homeland Security. One of his first executive orders was telling both of those agencies and their respective heads that within 90 days he wanted a recommendation of whether he should invoke the Insurrection Act.
Yeah.
And that deadline is April 20th. That's Easter. That's Easter Sunday and Hitler's birthday. Do you think he's not, if he, no matter what happens, if none of us go to the streets, if none of us do anything, if we all sit at home like good boys and girls and don't complain, do you think he's not going to do that on Hitler's birthday if he really wants to anyway?
Yeah. Here's the thing.
You can't worry about those hypothetical responses from these people.
Right. And who cares? Like, you know, I mean, I get it. Like, but don't be cowards. Don't be afraid.
Like, take care of yourself. Like,
Yeah.
if you are legitimately in a position where you are at risk, that's one thing.
Right.
Most of you aren't.
Yeah. And going to a protest isn't usually going to get you into any hot water unless you do something grossly illegal or incompetent.
No, if now I will say, like, certain segments of the population have to be more careful.
Yep.
If
Immigrants,
if you are any type of immigrant, even if you are a fully naturalized citizen and you have been here for decades,
there's a higher risk for you.
You
under
have to
this
be more
administration.
careful, and I hate that. Like, there's this guy who's always posted on TikTok. His account name was Overopinionated Brit. He has just scrubbed himself from the entirety of social media because he's British. He's here's a naturalized citizen. He's British. But his whole family, him, his wife, and his kids all moved here from the UK and became citizens.
Right. So he's at a higher risk.
He's at higher risk.
Yeah. And, you know, organizers, if you are actually organizing protests, like, heart goes to you because I know you're putting yourself in a position where you could be targeted by the government. Sure. The rest of us, on the other hand, don't give up. Go to that protest.
And go to that protest and, like,
do not fear the Insurrection Act because, again,
and
let them overreact.
As white people, need to stop relying on the most oppressed of marginalized groups to do all of our organizing for us.
Yes, absolutely.
We really need to step up.
Yeah. Do you want your country to look like your country? Do you want your free speech? Do you want your freedom to think how you want to think and feel how you want to feel and fuck who you want to fuck and fuck how you want to fuck and believe what you want to believe? Do you want that freedom? Do you want the freedom to tell the President of the United States that you think he's an idiot and a piece of shit? Do you want the freedom to not have Elon Musk, the world's richest man, telling you whether or not you have labor rights? Do you want those freedoms? Because if so, step the fuck up, bucko.
Yeah, you don't get to just sit this out.
Yeah. And it's not do or die time right now, but it's also not time to just sit on your ass.
Yeah, that's the thing. The more you do early, the less you have to do later.
Yep.
And the easier it becomes. Now, honestly, the easiest thing to do would have not been allow this to happen at all. But we're beyond that now, so we have to deal with the situation we find ourselves in.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda on that whole voting thing, everybody.
Remember that, though. Remember that.
Yeah. The lowest bars, you should have cleared them. And you didn't. I get it. But now, here we are. So, find a community, like-minded people. Reach out to people. Do what you can. Don't give up. But also take care of yourself. And that means that within that community, socializing, making friends.
Have fun.
Go to concerts.
Go to concerts. Have parties. We need more parties.
Yeah.
More people need to have parties. Like, I know too few of us own houses anymore, but we need more house parties.
Right?
House parties, house shows. Go out with friends, roam the streets as a gang.
I've never gotten a noise complaint in Largo. I should try to see if I should. House show.
House shows are so much fun. I love house shows
I have not done that in a very long time.
We shut down the street next to the bar to have concerts in the street.
And concerts and fundraiser concerts for shit like Gaza that gets us fucking targeted by Zionists.
Every single time that street has been shut down and we have staged a concert there, the entire sidewalks have been lined with booths of people representing nonprofit organizations and community organizations and different activist groups. We do everything you can, and God, I love that I get to reach a few people here and dozens of people at the bar every day and hundreds to thousands of people when we put our TikToks up or when we're doing events, right? Yeah. And fundraisers and shit and music
fucking concerts. I love that we get to help people reach each other and different orgs reach people.
And foster
I love
community.
that. Like, it is important, and do it, guys. You know how happy it makes us, like, to be involved in that shit?
And
like, even the little bits, because we could do more,
but
we're doing a lot.
It's real simple math. There is no such thing as doing something that's too small.
Yeah.
And it is also impossible to ever do too much to oppose tyranny.
Like,
everything you do matters. And you need to remind yourself of that every day. There are days where, honestly, just waking up and getting out of bed is enough of a victory that you should feel proud of yourself for having done it.
congratulate yourself on brushing your teeth today.
Yeah.
And take one foot, put it in front of the other, and do the next thing. But also, do the next thing, and the next, and the next stuff. Guys, I know...
Let everything you do be an inspiration to do the next thing.
Or do it out of spite. Either one's fine.
Spite is so powerful.
Yeah.
Spite is so powerful.
I persist because I spite you all.
I'm fueled.
Yeah.
Fueled by
Speaking of doing things that you can do, remember, every one of these that you finish, you could save. Because it's a nice glass bottle. And all it takes is a rag and fuel. And
you have party favors.
Have a party favor. And the Finns taught us how to use these party favors.
I respect the Finns as both a people and alcoholics.
It's true. They do drink a lot. And yeah, so they taught us how to use these party favors. And, you know.
We don't have any Finnish listeners from what I remember. We need to fix that. My Finns, where are you?
Yeah, Finns, you'd be great. Irish. I would love an Irish following.
I have at least enough cousins in fucking wherever the fuck they are. I know there's a lot of Malaz over there.
Fair,
You should, people should. Where's my family at?
I am just saying.
One of my. I don't know exactly how we're related, but one of the guys I share a name with was actually like basically staff photographer for the IRA.
That's how
in the 60s and 70s.
That's great. I love this. But yeah, like Ireland, your politics, especially around Gaza, for the most part, dope.
Fucking killer.
Fucking killer. And you know, I understand Maggie Thatcher was a cunt, and I'm sad that you guys missed her so many times. I wish you'd gotten her.
Yeah,
I really do.
I wish. You know, I'm glad a stroke did what y'all had been trying for years.
Yeah, But you know, so I give you that. I give you credit, and you know, I'm just saying I would love some Irish listeners. But yeah, like, do what you can, build community, make friends. Hell, curate your social media feed to something different. Like, mine is mostly politics these days. Like, and I don't mind that. I know a lot of people can't handle it, but man, find some smart, cool people that actually have like career interest in the things that they talk about. Right? Like, not dipshit cousin, I know, blah, 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 blah. No. I mean, like, you know, if you haven't noticed, like, a lot of my Facebook, the people that I don't know personally, but I talk to all the time, they work in government or work for government or work in large Fortune 500s, like, or work in nonprofit sectors and deal with refugees and et cetera, et cetera. And the reason being is because I wanted to curate my feed.
Yeah.
To actually have people I could talk to that know things. I've got epidemiologists and large systems accountants that work in international trade and tariffs and audited
experts.
Governments, right? So, you know, it helps me understand the world, and I'm grateful for it because I'm just some dipshit who owns kava bars, right? So
but yeah,
curate your feed to interesting people.
Get involved in your local music scene.
Oh,
That'll
yeah.
do wonders for your fucking life. Get involved in your music scene. Go to local shows. Meet local bands. Start your own band.
Speaking of music scene,
yeah, what?
Oh man, this is a personal note, but again, have fun is important. Having fun, do it, guys. Monday, remember how I mentioned that the good news was that the Femmes were coming to Janice?
Yeah,
I got tickets.
Nice.
Yes. So Violent Femmes.
Fucking Garbage is playing Janice in September.
Oh.
September 6th, I believe.
Oh, that's 4 days before the other show that I have tickets to.
Yeah.
You know what show that is?
Is that the 9 Inch Nails?
Floor seats, baby.
Yeah. Pit seats. The only way to see a
at
show.
the Amalie Arena for 9 Inch Nails.
Oh man, there's some good goddamn shows coming up in the next few weeks. I am super excited. It fuels me. It gives me.
Pit tickets.
I can't do them when I have concert tickets.
I can't.
I can't.
I've got Wu-Tang and Run the Jewels. I've got 9 Inch Nails coming up. I've got fucking Violent Femmes, and now I'm gonna add Garbage.
Garbage, yeah. At Janice. So like no seating, no assigned seating.
Now, do you know who's showing up in the summer? That I don't know if I want to spend that kind of money for, but I kind of do.
Who?
The biggest rock band of ever.
Who?
Metallica.
Oh yeah.
They're coming around in the summer.
2 nights. Each night is different opening acts. I would definitely suggest going to the night when the opening acts are Pantera and not like Five Finger Death Punch or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, fuck Five Finger Death Punch. Oh my god.
And they're playing completely different set lists each night.
Ooh, oh man.
No repeat weekends. They're only playing Friday and Saturday shows.
I am not sure if I want to spend that kind of money.
James,
yeah, it's at Ray J.
And I saw Metallica in 1992.
Yeah.
April 9th, 1992, Philadelphia Spectrum, An Evening with Metallica. There was no opening act. They played a 25-minute video it was a brief history of the band, and then they just played songs for 3.5 hours.
Wow. Sadly, I never got a chance to see them live.
It was my first concert.
You lucky bastard.
It was my first. My dad surprised me with tickets. He's like, "Yeah, by the way, after you get home from school today, we're going to Philly to see Metallica."
Yeah.
He had never listened to them before.
Fuck. I had an uncle who went down to that live showing in Mexico that made the Binge and Purge.
Oh, nice.
Box set. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he got the box set afterwards. He was like, "Yeah, I was there." I was like, "Fuck you, lucky bastard!" That's like they played for a day. They played all fucking day. It was amazing.
I'm gonna tell you, how am I gonna doomer when I got 1 week next month where I've got on Saturday I've got Carcass, Cannibal Corpse, and Meshuggah.
Nice.
Sunday and Monday, my buddy Don visits from Australia for the first time since he moved in 2019.
Oh wow, okay.
Wednesday, the 23rd, I got Melvins and Napalm Death.
Fuck yeah.
And then Friday and Saturday, they're doing the 5th year of the Lost in St. Pete Festival. It's free.
Okay.
It's
when is that?
The 25th and 26th of April. Ooh. It's Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
It's 4 stages at 2 venues, completely free. One of the headliners is a band called Zeta. They are fucking incredible live. I highly recommend everybody check them out. They are, I forget where they're from in Latin America. I can't remember the specific country they're from, but like the 2 headliners are like them, and the other band is a Venezuelan surf punk band called Cardiel, who the last time I saw them was at the Bends when
God, this is where that story happened.
They're at the Bends when a
legend.
A legend, a lost legend who we both knew. I watched him get in a fist fight with the drummer's father while I was tripping balls on shrooms.
Rip to a legend. You'll be missed, my friend.
That was the last night I hung out with him.
Wow. Oh, that was not that. Yeah, that was not long before he passed. Yeah, we're getting a picture for him for the bar.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
We're hanging a photo. Yeah.
Well, he deserves that.
Yeah. So rip to a legend. I miss you, my friend. Man. We gotta go to. We've like been to like 2 shows together, haven't we? And that's it. Except for Riot Fest.
You really should probably come out for that Lost in St. Pete.
I think I'm gonna.
It's free. It's at Cage Brewing and Pinellas Ale Works. 4 stages between both venues, bouncing back and forth, completely free.
Hit me up. I
know
make time.
half the band's playing.
Nice.
It starts like Friday evening as soon as I'm done work.
Right.
Well, it starts like an hour before I'll get off work that day, and then I have off Saturday. So.
Yeah, but we gotta,
we're gonna make a rager.
We gotta go more shows and do more drums together, my friend.
Some good shows coming up at the Nest. Ooh. They're usually pretty cheap, and I mean the beer sucks there, but
who cares?
Angelo's is next door. Angelo's is next door. You're learning way too much about the city of St. Petersburg, Florida, right now because we're rambling, but still.
Excellent.
This is how you find joy. This is what you have to do. You have to. Sometimes you have to force yourself to have a good time, so you can get through the bad times.
Does your town have a cool spot? Does it have a cool area? Does it have a place where you can go to shows and drink a bit too much and eat pizza and then do a bump to walk home?
Maybe play some pool tables. Fucking just
find something cool to do, guys.
Walk through alleys late at night.
I used to do so much of that.
Oh, I love walking through it. Do other thing.
I mean,
I want you.
Now that I no longer live in a city where the alleys are all that cool, I used to do a lot of it, but
Get laid in an alley.
okay. Yeah.
Like, don't lay down, obviously.
No,
You gotta
but,
do
all
it
right.
standing up, but get laid in an alley.
Yes, I mean, yeah, I've done that. I mean, your girlfriend judges me for the fact that I'm the only person she knows that had sex with a pregnant girl next to a dumpster in an alley. So,
I don't think she's judging that hard.
well, she did, but yeah. Also, you know some things about her, and
I know a lot about a lot of people.
I've heard a few about her.
I know a lot about a lot of people.
God, she's amazing when she gets drunk.
But yeah, I've gotten pushback from this from people in the past when I say it, but like, go out and do something with your friends.
Yeah.
Like,
why would people give you
it's
pushback
good for
on
you.
that?
I don't know, because like, I don't have friends. I'm like, make some.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, my only friend is my wife. Then go on and do something fun with your wife.
Okay, cool. Like,
Have a good night out with your wife.
That also makes me really sad. Like,
it's becoming a problem with the youths.
Yeah,
I've noticed. Like,
your wife and your partner could be your best friend, should be your best friend. That's
One of 'em.
awesome. But do not. No, like one that often leads to one of the two of you being really toxic and controlling. That's how that usually starts.
That's how codependency becomes a
Yeah,
thing.
like, that's how
you can't function with each other.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that you are. I'm saying that typically speaking, by saying that already, that you have no friends other than your partner, you've red flagged me that one of the two of you got some toxic, abusive, like controlling shit going on, and I'm going to be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, and
I'm not saying it's happening.
I'm gonna say it. It's probably not the one of you who is like, I don't know if I can go out and do things like that. You're probably not the toxic one.
No. If you're the one who is not the one who's like, well, I'd like to, but I'm not sure if I can. I don't have anybody. My wife's my best friend, or my husband's my best friend, and that's all I got. You're usually not the one that's abusive, or toxic.
Usually, I mean, it's possible, but
Yeah. But be on the lookout. Like, again, and if any of your friends, like, is all of a sudden, like, basically the only person they ever hang out with is their partner.
Mm-hmm. Out of nowhere, especially. Like,
Out of nowhere.
It's abrupt.
Yeah, be concerned.
It's a red flag.
Yeah. So, but I'm not saying it's happening. I'm just saying
Be on the lookout.
concern has started. But have friends other than your partner. Have people you talk to. Have people you can unload to. That this guy's heard way too much about my fucking emotional fucking damage.
As easy as it is, don't just do it online.
Yeah.
Like, you need real world face-to-face interactions with other people. It's good for your mind and your soul.
And fucking the brain chemistry that happens when you're actually talking to people. When you get a hug when you're having a bad day.
20 seconds of a hug and the oxytocin that you will be released from your own fucking brain because of it.
Exactly.
Will get you through the rest of the day.
Like,
and again, you can't doomer when you're feeling like that. You're not going to want to. You are going to have the desire to fight for the people around you because you care about them and you don't want their lives to get worse.
So make those genuine human connections, and it's good for you. Like, we can get through this. It may all seem like it's on fire.
We don't have a choice.
But
I refuse to give up.
Yeah.
I refuse to just sit back and let it all happen.
Remember that line, nobody gets out alive, right?
Yeah.
We don't. Like, we're stuck on this rock, and eventually we die. And in the meantime...
And it's also important to remember that all of this, everything you see around us, every bad thing, like, those are all choices we've made.
Yep.
And we can just stop.
And they're all temporary states of being. Yeah. Every single one. Like, it's all temporary. None of this holds on forever.
Like
you will, even if this like turns into a completely locked down fascist dictatorship hellscape and they're rounding people up in the streets and it turns to hell.
It won't last forever.
It won't. There will be a generation, maybe in a few years, maybe a few decades, maybe a century. Who knows?
If you fight and you persist and you don't give up, there will come a time where this is all shit you're just going to read about in a history book.
Yeah.
And be like, I was there.
And in the worst case scenarios, worst case scenarios, these things don't last forever. Like a generation or
10
two.
years.
Yeah.
10, 15 years tops.
Yeah. And then
there's some outliers like Pinochet held on to power for a while.
Yeah.
Because he was unusually brutal and had like an unusual level of military support. Franco held on for longer than anybody because he knew when to not be a fascist about something.
Right. But no single form of government has lasted more than a century or two without some massive change.
Yeah.
Right? Like
And-
even the even empires.
And think
right?
about this.
Like, and monarchies, they go through a few changes after one or two fucking monarchs are born. Like, and then things change. This is all temporary.
It's all temporary. What we're going through now is going to implode at some point.
Mm-hmm.
The only question you need to ask yourself is, do I want to be here to help put things back together?
Yep. And
I think we should all want to be here to make a better world when the time comes.
Yeah.
To fight for it until then, to push back on as much as we can until then, and then once we get the chance to actually make something better from whatever rubble is left, however that may be.
Exactly. Like, the only conditions I don't want to be here to help rebuild after it's done include me making sure that I fucking take somebody out with me on my way out the door.
Well, yeah.
Right? I'm not going. I don't want to go into a cage to be disappeared for the rest of my days if things turn sideways.
No.
But aside from that, like, yeah, I'll probably die fighting, but I'd rather not have to. I'd rather not
have to
get
do
there.
that. Like,
I would rather us avoid that course altogether. Like, we have so many ways that we could just stop this.
yeah.
We just have to do it. Now, if we don't, it's going to get incrementally worse until eventually your options are blood in the streets and bullets, but we don't
Like the idea,
have to get
the
there.
idea of like, he's going to impose martial law. It's like, well, the U.S. military on its own could not pacify this country.
No. And even with the National Guards active
with
in
the National
every
Guard.
single state, they could not pacify this country. They
And
could lock down
now-
the civilian population center, the major population centers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But not indefinitely.
No. Especially because our
And-
economies would
and-
collapse and our food
So
supply
yeah, but
would run low.
if you have like made good inroads in your local community, it's going to be harder for them to, in that situation, effectively militarize the local police against you, because there won't be a local push for that.
Yeah. And this is why it all starts local. You got a shitty police department, agitate around that. You got a shitty city council, agitate around that.
You got a shitty mayor. We've had plenty of those. I don't know that we've had a good one yet since I moved here.
Yep, agitate around that. Get local politics changed, and then at the national level, like, send $5-10. Talk about which candidates you like.
Yeah.
Vote in primaries. That's all
Vote
you
in
can
primaries.
do. Like, your ability to affect things decreases the further away from it you are.
Yeah.
Right? And that's fine. You do what little things you can do. Vote in primaries, send money.
Yeah, the only thing that isn't
That's all that
particularly
matters.
helpful is sitting at home fantasizing about a revolution that's probably not going to happen.
Yes.
And if it does happen, it will not happen in the way you think it's going to happen.
And you will more than likely just die in it or be cannon fodder for, or
Yeah, you're probably going in the first wave,
Yep.
dude.
Or after it does happen, you're going to be liquidated as one of the enemies of the state because you liked memes too much, because all you edgelords who thought that you were the next Maoist revolutionary or whatever also like your freedoms too much.
Yeah.
Because I've seen what you put on social media, and not a single Authcom state ever in the history of Authcom states, including the current one that exists down to the south of us, right, would let you live or like exist,
Like the
or
number
like
of-
free for everything you say on the internet.
The
You
number of
dipshit.
people we know who are like, I wish things were like they were in China. I would do better in China. I don't know how well you and your crust punk van would do
right?
in China there, brother.
Yeah, no, I've seen your social media posts, and like, Chinese government would let you live there to teach English like for a year there, but if you like try to actually become a citizen right now, even under the current conditions, they'd probably disappear you in a year or two.
You
You're
would
on a
have
list.
more rights there as a non-citizen American living abroad
Yeah,
than you would as a citizen.
yeah. So don't be silly. Agitate for your community. Do what you can. Build community. Find friends. Make friends. Have fun. And do everything you can and everything in your power to affect change in the world.
Yep, it's a cliche, but it's true. You have to be the change you want to see in the world.
Whether or not you think you can or you can't.
Right.
You're right.
Whether or not you think you're going to live to see that world.
Yeah. So this has been The Grift. I'm the Reverend Al.
I am Gonzo.
Give us all your fucking money.
Especially now that we've been so unusually positive for like the last hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, holy shit.
Do you know? It's us, motherfucker.
Yeah. We have been happy. We showed you a puppy.
We showed you a puppy. We give you a fucking puppy.
You got a fucking puppy out of this. Give us all your fucking money. I don't care how you do it. Just get on your fucking phone and find a way of giving me fucking money, or I swear to God.
Stuff money in an envelope and send it.
Yeah, look, just fucking come over and grease my palm. Fucking jack me off and give me $1. I don't care. Just fucking give me money. This has been The Grift.
Until next week.